I've sat on this story for a long time. Part of me thought staying silent was the best way to forget, to move on. But the truth is, I can't. I keep circling back to that house, to the sounds, the smell, the man. I'm not trying to scare anyone or sell a ghost story. I just want to tell it like it happened, because someone needs to know. Maybe it'll make me feel a little less crazy. This was in 2006. I was 12 when my family moved from a cramped apartment in Chicago to a weathered colonial in northern Indiana, just outside Fort Wayne. My parents had scraped together enough money for a down payment, and the place was a steal. Big backyard, 3 bedrooms, detached garage, lots of trees. It needed work, but it was ours. For the first time, I had a room to myself. The house had been sitting empty for a few years, and you could tell. The floors creaked, the walls were stained from past leaks, and the whole place carried a heavy, stale smell, like dust and moisture had become part of the structure. My parents brushed it off. They were optimistic. They thought it just needed airing out. But there was something wrong in that house. I knew it immediately. Not in a haunted kind of way. It was more subtle, a feeling like the air itself was too still, like we were being watched. The first few nights I barely slept. I kept hearing noises above me, faint at first, scratching, a thump, like something shifting its weight. I figured it was rats or squirrels in the attic. Old house, old problems. But the sounds didn't stop. They got more rhythmic, more deliberate. Around the second week, I started noticing small things. My school backpack moved slightly from where I left it. Food missing from the fridge. Not a slice of pizza or a cookie. I mean whole packages of raw meat, gone. My parents assumed they forgot to buy some things or maybe left them at the store. Then the trash started showing up inside the house. Bits of bone, food wrappers, and chewed plastic. The kind of mess a raccoon might leave if it got in, except it was inside, usually in the laundry room or hallway outside my bedroom. My dad figured a raccoon or stray cat had gotten in through the attic, so one Saturday morning, he pulled down the hatch and went up there. He came down a few minutes later looking confused but not panicked. Said there were signs of nesting, a blanket and some trash, but no animal. He figured something had gotten in and left. He set traps just in case and sealed up a small vent he found loose on the roof. It helped. For a few days, things were quiet. Then it got worse. The smell returned, stronger, like iron and rot. It pooled in the upstairs hallway right beneath the attic door. It didn't drift like a normal smell. It settled, dense and sour. That's when I started waking up to the sound of breathing, heavy, wet breathing directly above me. Sometimes I'd hear a soft rustle, followed by long, low chewing noises. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. I waited until everyone was asleep, grabbed a flashlight and a steak knife from the kitchen, and climbed the attic stairs. The air changed immediately. It was thick, moist. The kind of air you can taste. My flashlight flickered and barely cut through the dark, but I could see the shape of the attic. Exposed beams, dusty boxes, insulation hanging in strips. And then, in the far corner, I saw him. He was crouched over a pile of something, rags, trash, bones. His skin was gray and slick, his body almost skeletal. But it wasn't just the starvation-thin look of someone who hadn't eaten. His arms, his thighs, even parts of his chest. They were covered in bite marks, scars, chunks of healed-over flesh, like he'd been gnawing on himself when there was nothing else. He didn't react at first. He just kept chewing, tearing through something raw and sinewy. I stepped forward and the floor creaked. He turned, his face was stretched thin, lips dark and cracked. His teeth were yellow and jagged, caked with old blood. And his eyes, they weren't glowing or inhuman. They were wide, bloodshot, and locked onto me with an intensity that made my stomach turn. Like I was next. He didn't scream. He didn't lunge. He just smiled. That broke me. I ran, didn't stop until I was pounding on my parents' bedroom door. My dad didn't hesitate. He got a crowbar from the garage and went up. I stayed downstairs shaking and listening to the floorboards groan above me. He came back down faster than I expected, called the cops without a word. They found him still up there, sitting in the same corner, surrounded by gnawed bones, food wrappers, and what they later said were remains of various small animals. He didn't fight, didn't say a word, just let them cuff him and carry him out. Turns out he was a drifter, probably squatting there since before we moved in. Somehow slipped through the cracks. There was a small hole behind the attic vent where he was getting in and out. The old owner had done renovations years ago that left it partially accessible from inside the wall of the garage. The authorities chalked it up to untreated mental illness and extreme starvation. Said he probably scavenged to survive, maybe hurt himself during delusions. But I know what I saw. That man had been eating more than rodents and trash. He'd been feeding on himself, slowly, repeatedly, like it was instinct. We left the house 2 weeks later, didn't sell it, didn't fix it up, just walked away. People ask me why I still sleep with a light on, why I bolt the attic in my apartment shut even though it's just for insulation. They laugh, but I know better. I know what lives in the quiet corners of forgotten places. Sometimes the thing watching you from the dark isn't a ghost or a demon. It's a person, a human being, hollowed out by hunger, living just above your ceiling, waiting for you to fall asleep.